Yes, people, what's going on? So, it's bonfire night tonight. You might hear a couple of fireworks in the background, but you don't know that is not about to stop us. We're keeping this momentum going. I proper appreciate all you guys showing the love on these new style of videos over the last week or last few nights or whatever it is. Yeah, I really appreciate you showing the love and just egging me on to continue and keep doing this, because at the end of the day, I am proper loving making this content in comparison to what I was doing before. I enjoyed it, but not like this. Like this is like a chat with the boys, just chilling. You know what I mean? I fucking love it. I'm here for it. And then when I see you guys commenting back and egging me on and telling me like, you know, I'm loving this style of content, and then giving me things to talk about, giving me your opinions, and it's like we're having conversations, and I'm here for it. That's all I'm saying. I appreciate every single one of you, as I say in every video, but I'm just saying it again because, yeah, I really fucking do. But yeah, as you can see, today's video, basically what we're going to talk about is just why I chose medical cannabis over prescription pills. Now, everyone who's on medical cannabis has got their own reasons why they chose medical cannabis over prescription pills, and I'm sure a lot of them are very similar to my reasons. They might not be though, so I would like to hear below in the comments, you know, what your reason for choosing medical cannabis over prescription pills. I know there's people that we've had commenting saying that like medical cannabis has helped them to give up other drugs, and that is fucking amazing. You know what I mean? You've had an addiction that you've been struggling to beat, and then you've hopped on board with a herb, and boom, you've managed to smack it out of the park like it's nothing. Maybe not like it's nothing. I'm sure it was difficult, but it's helped you. And again, I say to those people, and I've said it in the comments, I reply, and I'll say that to them, but I'll say it again publicly here. Big up yourself for what you've done as well. If you've done that and you've shook off a major addiction, sorry, if you shook off that sort of thing though, on a real, that's hard to fucking do. Like the herb might have helped you along with it, but you've done that. So big up yourself, and you know, be proud of what you've done. End of the day, you know, this is not a miracle plant. As much as we all love it and we, you know, how fantastic it is and things it can help with, as we touched on in yesterday's video, it's up to you to be who you are and do what you want to do. Cannabis can help you along with that, sure, but that's all it will do, is help you. It's not gonna do things for you. So yeah, for me personally anyway, why I chose it over prescription pills. So the prescription pills I was given, I'm not gonna lie, I was prescribed stuff when I was a kid and it didn't work. It had issues, side effects that I just couldn't deal with, and then I kind of come away from it entirely. And as I got a little bit older, I got into cannabis in the black market, and I just self-medicated basically using it. I didn't really quite realize what I was doing. I just know that I felt a lot better when I was consuming cannabis. And I mean, we've touched on this before, but I didn't 100% understand it. I just know that I was getting a feeling of relief from stuff that I was struggling with. And now, when I've gone through the process of being prescribed, and you know, as in later life, you know, problems have developed when I've come off cannabis, when I've had periods of time where I'm not using it and things like that, and those problems resurface, and I kind of didn't understand why. And eventually, I realised what it was. It was the cannabis that I was using to treat the symptoms, and it was helping me massively. Unfortunately, the more research I've done, I realised sometimes, you know, you're stuck with whatever you can buy. You end up not really treating those symptoms with certain strains of cannabis, and then you just kind of overusing it just for the sake of trying to get that feeling, but you're never going to get. Again, we've touched on this in another video, so I won't go too deep on that. But basically, as I got older, I had to go back to the doctors because I was struggling with these things as I was, you know, stopping using cannabis, and I was really struggling. I got prescribed the same thing as I got prescribed as a kid, and I didn't even know that that's what I got prescribed. I had to get them to search through medical records. They had to go and it took about 2 months. They had to go and search for physical data that was stored somewhere on sheets of paper and all this, because it was so long ago. And basically, in the meantime, they re-prescribed me the same drug, and it didn't work for me. The side effects were there. There's a huge array of side effects with lots of medication, the same with cannabis. Now, I know what the side effects are with cannabis, you know, things like dry eyes, things like dry mouth. I mean, all strains are different, you know, you're going to get more of one and less of another with different things. But I knew what I was dealing with cannabis, whereas with these pills, it's crazy because not only can you just cause side effects, but you can get long-term side effects from some of this prescription medication. And you go back and they'll just say, oh, it's all right, we can give you this. And I was like, I'll be honest, I don't want another pill on top of this pill to try and deal with stomach issues and, you know what I mean, just because of this one pill. Do we not have something else? Oh yeah, we can try this. Okay, we try this one. Just the doctor has to ask the question, have you ever had any suicidal thoughts? No, absolutely none at all. Okay, well, just to let you know, this pill that we're going to prescribe you now, this can actually give you suicidal thoughts. Right, okay, and you want me to take this? Is it yes? On top of these other side effects, and it runs through, again, stomach issues, increased anxiety, appetite loss. There's tons of different stuff. Now, for me, the side effects with the second medication were different to the side effects with the first medication. I'd already had that before and know what I was dealing with when it, you know, I didn't at first, as I say, but when I, in the interim between switching over, I actually got my documents back from the hospital and they told me, yeah, you were on this medication as a child. And I was like, that makes sense. That's why it's causing me issues now. So I stopped that medication. Doctor gave me a different medication that was, you know, potentially going to give me suicidal thoughts, which is fucking crazy. Like, I can't believe that is a suggestion over a plant. Like, it's just mad. Like, I understand there's a lot of money tied up in it. Yeah, we won't go into all that right now because but it's just mad. It is just mad to me. Anyway, I did try that out. I didn't get the suicidal thought, thank God. But I did have a lot of side effects from that medication also, which it just really did not agree with me. Yeah, I could not continue taking it. It was about 3 weeks into it, and I maybe 4 weeks, something like that, I had to say no. Went back to the doctors and let them know I can't do this. And that's when I went down the route of, right, let's get this medical cannabis prescription, because I know what's going to treat me, and I can go and pick it up from down the road, which I did at the time, and I helped to treat the symptoms somewhat. But yeah, you know what it's like. The same strain's not available the next week or a few days later or whatever, especially the fire ones. The best ones always go. And there was no research in terpenes or any of these things on the black market. So unfortunately, you just got to roll with what you roll with. Do you know what I mean? Quite literally. But yeah, in fact, at that point, I don't think I was rolling. I was on the dry herb vapes by then. But yeah, you get my point anyway. So it was the side effects specifically around these prescription pills that put me off. Now I know for a lot of people, they will be happy with, and this is just not me personally, so I hope I don't offend anyone by saying this, but you know what, even if I do offend somebody, I'm sorry that I've offended you, but at the same time, I'm just going to be completely honest. I don't want to take 5 medications because the first one, which was treating the initial issue, is going to cause me another issue. Then I've got to take another medication because that's caused me another issue, and oh, that's caused me an issue, so oh, it's all right, we've got this medication for that. But I know loads of people who are genuinely happy to do that, and that blows my mind, because it's like, are you not seeing the domino effect? Like, are you not seeing what's going on? I don't know. And yeah, again, I'm sorry if people are offended off that. If that's you, don't blame yourself either, because at the same time, what can all you've ever known is to go to the doctors, to speak to them. They'll tell you, you know, get prescribed this, and some people just don't open their mind that little bit more because maybe they've never been introduced to it. Like, I was lucky, I got introduced to the plant, and it was at a time when I was actually suffering a lot with my symptoms, and honestly, it just grounded me back down. Like, it changed my life in that moment. I remember the feeling of like, wow, this is like just like being normal again, you know what I mean? It's it was a crazy feeling. It's like I could just be me, you know what I mean? It was mad. And yeah, for me, the prescription medication just never did that, and I've had friends go on similar meds to what I was on as well, and honestly, the reaction they've had, I know everyone's reaction is different, they hadn't had quite the side effects that I'd had, but my God, the tablets that they were taking was turning them into zombies. Like, these are brothers that I worked with daily, all of a sudden they're like sloping about and dragging their feet along, and you're like, what's going on, bro? Oh, I just feel fucked, you know. I think it's these new tablets. To me, yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't want to be taking something that makes me feel like that. Some people are happy with that, I guess. Maybe it's better than how they feel without it. But the thing is, for me, if you've not got some way to treat the cause, then treating the symptoms is not really going to do it all for you. And this is where there's a fine line. I spoke about this yesterday with cannabis. There's definitely a fine line, and I found since jumping on the medical, sorry, I've got hiccups, man. I found with medical cannabis, since jumping on it, as you probably know, I've decreased the amount I use massively. The amount of times I use a day, massively. Like, so much about how much cannabis I use has decreased, and that's because the cause of the symptoms to begin with has started to improve. I've started to work on that as well. That's a long and slow process, and it's not something that maybe I'm going to ever be able to completely be shaken of. But that's okay, because I'm happy to treat it with a small amount of a natural plant that's grown out the ground. Do you know what I mean? I'm happy with that. I'm more than happy with that. I believe that it was probably put there for that reason. As much as, I'm not going to get into all that speak, but I think, it's on the earth. It was here. Somebody didn't make it. Now, obviously, you've got the talk of, which is another video entirely, of the cross strains, land races versus, all these hybridizations nowadays. But that's another topic and another conversation. The point is, there's a difference between taking a prescription pill, in my opinion, for my experience, and them just telling you, take this and just get it on repeat prescription for life. Don't worry about treating the cause of the symptoms, or don't worry about anything like that. And if you have any issues, come back and we'll prescribe you something else. Whereas on the medical cannabis side of things, it's not about that. It's about managing your symptoms and trying to, dependent on what it is that you have been diagnosed with and what you have an issue with. Like, if you've got fibromyalgia, I understand there is only so much you can do to treat the cause. Do you know what I mean? To actually, it's like that with a lot of things. Even in my situation, it's not something I can, as I said, it's not something I can entirely get rid of. But that doesn't mean that I can't be mindful of it and just mindlessly take medication for the sake of it. And that's what I was being forced to do on the black market side of things, because I was just consuming medication, but it was obviously plant medication, but it weren't getting what I wanted. And now I'm on this side of things. I've actually been able to speak to doctors, dial it in, let them understand what I'm struggling with, help them to assist me in, telling me what I require and what would help me. And also, they're not encouraging you to just use as much as you can. You know what I mean? They're talking about like vaporizing 0.1 to 0.3, and genuinely that starts to do something after a bit. Like, you start to, once you bring your tolerance levels down, like I told you before, I was blazing a zip a week, and I know, I don't even care. I was gonna say, I know this is gonna sound a bit mad, but I don't care, because this is probably common amongst, I know it's common amongst cannabis scene, because everyone was like this. The bigger the zoot you were rolling, the kind of, I don't know, the better it felt in a way. That was kind of the aim. But then, once you're rolling pures and you're rolling big pures, you start to like negate the effects of it. Like, you don't actually, I've been with friends before who like smoke mixed with tobacco, and they'll be putting like a very small amount in a joint, and they'll be whacked off that, and they'll have a few draws of a fucking huge pure that I'd had, and they're like, fucking hell, how'd you handle that? Oh my God. And I can see it in them 10 minutes later that they are fucking slapped, mate. Do you know what I mean? And I'd be sat there thinking, wow, I've just bun the whole joint except for like the 5 draws you had, and I feel fine. And it's crazy, because I'm consuming all that cannabis and the carbon monoxide, which was fucking up my breathing and my sinuses and all of that shit. And instead, like I said, that's where I've kind of found my way with it. I've gone probably the long way about it. Got on the dry herb vapes first, but I was too anxious about getting on the legal like prescription side. I don't know. I didn't trust the pharmacies, the doctors. I just didn't trust it all. I was too in my head. And then when I got on the dry herb vapes and I started to treat it a little bit more mindfully, and it wasn't as much of like just roll up and get about with this joint. And I don't know, I feel like dry herb vaping just forces you to be that little bit more present when you're medicating, as opposed to like, you can kind of bun a joint doing anything. Whereas with your vapes, you can to a degree, but you've got to be conscious, you know what I mean? You've got glass there. And I'm saying this because I've at the beginning, I bought a rocket stem, or rattler, you call it, from Vape Fiend. And I bought one of them for my Tiny Mite and for my Solo, my Riser Solo. And I was just rushing about vaping, doing things at the same time. And next thing, it was like a few days old, this stem. And I literally just clapped the edge of it whilst it's in the Solo off of my kitchen cupboard door, and it just snapped on the neck. And I was wounded because honestly, those rattler stems, they call them rocket stems, I think, in America, fucking mint, like really good. They allow you to take much bigger, cooler hits. It's not quite to the level of a water pipe, but it really does allow you to take them much bigger, cooler hits, especially with the Solo. That's very, very, very helpful. I tend to sip more with the Solo because it's that type of vape, but as soon as I put that stem on it, it made a world of difference. And I'll be honest, I haven't bought another one since, because I was a bit fuming that it broke a couple of days in, and they're like, I think they're like 20-30 quid or something. I got a decent sale on it and I got a good price on it, but yeah, for whatever reason I didn't do it. I've broken a couple of stems, it happens, do you know what I mean? But it's also taught me, I know it sounds mad, it's off topic, but it's taught me to be a little bit more chilled and understand what matters the most, which helps me with my condition 100%. This is like a side effect, I suppose. But yeah, breaking stems and realising, oh well, you know what I mean? Life's life, like what can you do? I know a few years back, if I was to do something like that and it's costing me 20 quid or something like that, I'd be fuming. I wouldn't let it go, and I was probably earning more money then at that point, you know what I mean? But yeah, I think over time I've just grown to understand, right, you need to be a bit more present. Like, that was my fault that broke. I can't blame no one else, and getting mad's going to do nothing. And I think sometimes, maybe it was because I was smoking the wrong weeds as well. Like, I'd be blazing all, stuff sometimes that was making me so anxious. I didn't really clock that. I was thinking, have another joint, I'm fucking feel, you know what I mean? It wasn't helping, it was making it worse. And then here we are, I'm sat at home, obviously not now, but I'm sat at home with a device that's purpose built to boil the terpenes essentially off, and the THC off of this plant, and getting the exact effects which I desire, and it's 100% legal, and it's mad because this shit was available since 2018, bro. Like, this has been legal in this country since 2018, and here I am just getting on it on 2025. So if that's you and anything in this video is relatable and you're not yet on medical cannabis, fucking do it, lad. Just do it, you know what I mean? I'm going to put more videos out, but there's videos on my channel literally explaining how to do it before I was doing this more style of content. So go and watch that and keep up with the chats, these conversations we're having. If you've got stuff you want to know, literally drop it in the comments below. I am going to literally do a Q&A as well at some point. I'm just trying to build up enough questions, basically. So the more questions that are posted down there, the better. And yeah, oh God, I hope they're all right, whatever's going on there. That's the thing about bonfire night, innit? Ambulances, fire engines going everywhere. But yeah, anyway, guys, I appreciate you as always. Like I say, if you're not on it already and you know it helps you and you're doing it through the black market, just fucking do it, mate. Like, you could go and get it free with Medican. I've heard so many good things about Medican now. I've had people commenting back on the videos I posted saying I've now gone and got my prescription with Medican, thank you. And honestly, it fucking makes my day, makes my night, because I was looking at it in the night time. That's when I normally post. I finish work, as you know, film the video, post it straight up, and I'll be looking through comments. And yeah, you're just fucking legends. I proper appreciate it. I know you're saying you appreciate me, and people saying, oh, fair play to you for doing a channel like that, but I'm like, fair play for you to write in the fucking comments, mate, because, and sitting and watching and coming back and saying, oh, I want to talk about this, or I really enjoyed that. Like, I've been one of those brothers for years who will sit on videos and I watch them, but I won't like or comment or anything like that, and I don't know why. And since I've been seeing you guys doing it more with me, I'm doing it more with other people's videos, because if I like a video, why shouldn't I like it? Why shouldn't I leave a little supportive comment, because that means the world to somebody who's posting that video, and they've took their time to go and do that and get that out there. And they don't have to do that. They could sit at home and, you know, do whatever else they wanted to do, or they could go and create an AI faceless YouTube channel and try. That's not what we're trying to do out here. You know what I mean? We want to connect, at least me, and I say we because, as I've said to you before, I'm medicated, mate. You're medicated, mate. We are all medicated, mate. You know what I mean? That's the point. We are. It's a phrase more than it is just about me. But yeah, we're here to build this community together. So I appreciate every single one of yous. I say it every video. I've said it already. Do you know what I mean? I'm sure you. Well, maybe you do get pissed off with it, but I'm sure you don't. I like being appreciated, so I'm hopeful you guys do too. So yeah, thank you very, very, very much for all the support. I'm sure we're gonna hit 2K subs at some point soon. So I'm really looking forward to that. We're gonna have to do something. We're gonna have to do something because I just want to give back in some way. That's not just doing these videos. Yeah, I'm 100% gonna do it. But like I say, the people who are like looking forward to these videos daily now, trust me, I am doing my absolute utmost to make sure I get these videos out daily. It's not that hard for me to do. I say that sometimes it is a little bit out the way, or a little bit takes to, but it makes sense to me. I enjoy it. Like I've said before, I literally am enjoying doing this. I could sit here and talk fucking ages and ages and ages about all these types of topics. Like if we were sat together, little few 10G packs and a couple of vaporizers, mate, the conversations would be going on for hours. And I say that because that's the type of guy I am, and I know that a lot of you are like that too. That's why we're here. So yeah, big up is all. Appreciate it massively. Thanks for staying till the end if you did. You know what time it is. Take it easy, lads.